Hello, guys. Welcome to this week's edition of Let's Roast the NFL. Let's roast and, belittle every single game that was played. You know, I said it was going to be an interesting week. I had no idea it was going to be this interesting. It, I, a lot of funny shit here. With that being said, guys know the drill. I'm gonna go ahead and just, I guess, say what's going on. So I'm not gonna go over Baltimore and LA. I'm gonna start with this because obviously Baltimore and LA. Well, wait a minute. Or no, what am I saying? I'm not going over New England and Pittsburgh because what the hell? I mean, that was last Thursday, almost a week ago. But moving on, we're gonna go down this in regular order, and hopefully I have some good takes on these games. All right, guys, now for the second edition of Roast the Teams and the weekly reactions. First game we have here is Tampa Bay and the Atlanta Falcons. I said going into this week, oh yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a close game. Both of these teams have something to play for. Tampa Bay winning means that the best records in this division are these two at 6-7. Goodness gracious, which team is going to prove that they can actually go out and win the division in the final 4 weeks? Your guess is as good as mine. I honestly would like to say the Falcons, but I feel like the Buccaneers with this win. Oh yeah, we're going to go and we're going to win this division, guys. Got some serious talent on this team. Not unlike this team. This team's got serious talent too, but what can I say? You really shouldn't be throwing a pick 6 right off the rip, or you probably would have won this game. Rams, Ravens. The double R, guys. This game was not for the faint of heart. It was definitely a rated R game, if you know what I mean. R. From all the way from Los Angeles to the other side of the nation, we got the Rams showing up. Surprisingly to me, I didn't think that they would, fare so well against the Ravens. Goes into overtime, and then, oh, lo and behold, we cannot tackle on the Rams. Even the guy that should have been able to trip up their returner, boy, did he have the best drunken stumble for a game winner that I've ever seen. Congrats, Ravens. These are the kind of games that are like, oh man, this is reassuring. And the fact that you have the number 1 seed now, I'm not surprised based on your talent level, your pedigree, how good of a team you are. And that isn't even slander or satire. That's the goddamn truth. Lions, Bears. What in the fliggity fuck was this? What in the world happened in this game, Detroit? Yeah, we're still winning in the division, but we are now the 3rd seed, only superior to, the 4th seed, only superior to the Dane NFC South, which isn't saying much. And oh, lo and behold, the Bears. Oh, we have, some good players. Justin Fields, should we draft his replacement? Should we trade this kid? Watch him get traded, guys. He's going to light it up next year, whatever team he's on. Goodness, it could be, really interesting to see what the Bears do. I honestly feel like they're going to trade out of the pick. But honestly, who knows with, them being 5-8 now, or maybe they're thinking, oh yeah, there's teams that are 6-7. We could still make the playoffs, guys. What a ludicrous statement at 5-8, right? With only 4 weeks left. Nah, who knows with the NFC? And by the way, the Lions, what defense? Yeah, we drafted cornerstone Aiden Hutchinson, but who else shows up to play? Can't defend anybody. Literally, what people have been saying is worried them about the Lions is their defense. Not a winning formula for postseason football if you can't even beat a 4-8 team coming into this. That's a division rival. Props to you, Bears. Props to you. Colts Bengals, my guys. Browning, the great prodigy that is going to lead us out of the darkness, replace Burrow. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. No way is he replacing Burrow. But oh man, look at these juicy stats of his. 18-24, not as insane. Not as insane as his debut the week before, but still does enough to get the job done. And goodness, the Indianapolis Colts in a division where they could have potentially came out and tied with Jacksonville, especially since Jacksonville lost this week in a nail biter. But hey, we'll lose to the Bengals and we'll potentially give our spot up to them later in the year, depending on what happens. Who the hell knows? Jacksonville and Cleveland. I said it all along. I thought Cleveland had the necessary personnel to terrorize Trevor Lawrence and bring the law to him. Isn't his nickname T-Law, you say? And it's like, oh, he lives by the law of anybody. He's injured. He's not going to play as well. It honestly surprises me that they did this well in this game against what is a good defense. What kind of Jacksonville team are we going to get on any given Sunday? Who the hell knows? The same could be said about Cleveland. Man, dude, are they taking their opportunities to try and claw their way into the playoffs? This is a team I believe can actually do it. Joe Flacco looking very, very poised and like a veteran QB who's not going to risk the ball, but ain't afraid to sling it downfield. Carolina and New Orleans. Shocker. But hey, we're the top ranked. We're one of the top ranked defenses, and we still gave up some points to these guys. Reasons to be concerned? Probably none. We just have to win this crappy division of football record-wise. Oh, hey, we've got an easy one with the Jets, right? Oh, no, we have Stroud potentially getting hurt, not playing as well. Oh, it's raining in New York. I guess it doesn't really rain much in Houston, eh? If that's their kryptonite. Better hope they don't go play any of these teams in the snow in the postseason should they actually make it. But this was a pretty bad loss. Zach Wilson. Oh, no, I don't want to start, guys. I don't want to play for this team. It's absolutely miserable. And then you got Salah hugging him like, oh, my God, you are the chosen one. I'll gladly have you as my QB after Rodgers retires. Lord Almighty, we can't make the playoffs. But we might as well screw up the teams that can. Oh, ho, ho. We have the best ever predicament of teams here. The only team, the Vikings, one of the 6-6 teams going into the week in the NFC. Oh, yeah, guys, we're going to impress all of you, showing that our defense is crazy. We're going to limit Devontae as if he's a no-name wide receiver with his 57 yards. Oh boy, Devontae. Absolutely peeved at these guys. What's going on his team? Who the hell knows what's wrong with the Raiders? I mean, yeah, they thought they got rid of the problem with McDaniels. Could have potentially made some sort of a playoff run. Especially now that they're talking Broncos making the playoffs. Oh, yeah, the Broncos making the playoffs? Really? oh man, this season is all over the place, including scores. A team doesn't score until, within 2 minutes. What a crazy ordeal. And boy, the Raiders, chance to win it, but what a abysmal scoring game. Oh man, we got Seattle visiting San Fran. No Geno Smith, Drew Lock, boys. The ex-Bronco who had some athleticism but looked like when he tried to escape, oh boy, has that diminished. Well, oh boy, San Fran, dude. They kept it close for a little while in this game with the Seattle, up. What was it, 13-10 or something like that? And then they only give up 3 the rest of the game or whatever it is. Or I guess maybe not 13-10. I'm looking at this run. Boy, I don't even know what I'm talking about. But hey, San Fran, strongest team in the NFL. Looked like they were playing with their food in this game. Buffalo Bills and Kansas City. I cannot say enough how much has brought to light how pissed Mahomes has get. This seems like it's been a long time coming this year. With the drop catches, the inconsistency from every single wide receiver, and then even Kelsey not looking like himself sometimes and dropping passes. And with no run game to speak of, boy, it really does come down to Mahomes. No Pacheco this game. Edwards-Helaire and McKinnon, both those types of guys who don't really run it out of the backfield. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a fan of McKinnon, and he's a very good, smart back to have on your team as a sort of, security blanket X factor who can still make big plays. But oh boy, Buffalo taking a very, very early lead. But no lead is safe against Patrick Mahomes, as I'm sure these guys know. Barely able to win this game, 7-6, but able to essentially come away with a win off of who the hell knows this controversial call, or was it controversial, or who really knows, right? What's going through the refs' heads. Maybe they're all cross-eyed and we just can't tell. Denver Broncos at Los Angeles. Boy, I thought this game was going to be close, but of course, Herbert gets a season-ending injury. Oh boy. And then we're the Broncos. And it's like we're going up against a defense that usually lets up a ton, but we only score 24. Cortland Sutton still looking good. Russell Wilson still managing to throw a pick somehow and really having not even that great of a game. And Javonte Williams, doing his thing. But hey, we're the Denver Broncos and we can potentially compete for a division title with the way that Kansas City has been floundering around with 8 wins. It's absolutely asinine. I don't have much to say, but I feel like Denver isn't a team many teams should worry about should they even make the playoffs. A lot of people were talking about like they were the hottest team in the NFL. And then they go and they pull off a bad loss against the Texans last week and then the Texans look terrible this week. What does that say? Oh boy, this, almost week in and week out, it is anybody's game. Eagles, Cowboys. I think we anticipated something with this game. Something that was going to be a close, grueling game. But, I think the announcers made a valid point that I'll take here. The Eagles have been going against some of the tougher teams in the NFL, and they just look like they don't have energy on the defensive side. And they've played how many snaps, they said during the game? Some ludicrous number. You cannot keep doing that and keep performing week in and week out, even if you're getting rest type of thing. It is not easy to compete at the highest level in the NFL. I still think Philadelphia will be the team to beat, but they need to be smart, and they do have an easier stretch in the final 4 games here. So hopefully, they'll be able to not have to play as many starters or be able to get their guys ready for the postseason. Because who wants to go and play at Dallas? I don't want to say it, but the teams that have been going to go play in Dallas, oh boy, it has not looked good for them. But Dallas in away games, screw them. They are still a team that it's like, oh, great talent, great players, but don't execute on the road. They are trying to get to the number 1 seed if that's at all possible, not being ahead of the 49ers, and the 49ers obviously having the tie break over the Cowboys, so it's not possible. But hey, maybe they'll get the number 1 seed. And this will be their year to win, have Dak win MVP and then have, and win every game in the postseason. But who knows in this league? I mean, it seems like it can change week in and week out. Now to Monday night games. Tennessee and Miami. Goodness, where the hell has this team been, Tennessee? If you tell me that Tennessee beats Miami on Monday night by 1 point, I would have told you are crazy and you should put $100 down on that. And you you probably would have been a friggin', a rich man come today. But oh boy, we're Tennessee. We'll put Derrick Henry in shotgun and have him just run it in. We'll have Will Levis throw for over 300 yards off of 23 passes. We'll have no running game to speak of, so it's almost like we'll dial back the clock for DeAndre Hopkins. Oh yeah, we're the Dolphins. We have Jalen Ramsey. We have apparently what's supposed to be one of the best deep defensive backrooms in the league. We're going to come in and we're going to win, and we're going to potentially go and play for the number 1 spot, and compete with the Ravens at the end of the year. Oh no, we're going to fall behind the Ravens. We're going to lose to the Titans. It's like, Titans, if you showed this kind of pedigree the rest of the year, you're sitting in a playoff spot. But right now, it's in a ridiculous launch shot for you to even get in because of a stacked AFC. But kudos to you, and goodness, Miami, how the hell are you going to explain this? And don't tell me, oh, Tyreek Hill was hurt. He was out for a very minor amount of the time, and you still have a very talented offense. Doesn't anybody know that you got a guy called Jalen Waddle who is also just a blazer? Not the same kind of speed, but it's like, shouldn't you have enough talent to overcome him being out part of the game, and it wasn't even the whole game? But goodness gracious me. Thank you, Tennessee. You gave us a reason to doubt the Dolphins. Oh my God, I couldn't stop crying last night. This game, no, I wasn't really crying, you guys, but I was like, what the hell is this game? If you watch this game, you know that it was an anomaly of a game. And I don't even say that I don't say that lightly. I don't think I've ever seen a game this weird in my life. Yes, the Packers aren't fully healthy after having, a 3-game win streak when they were 3-6 against teams like the Lions, the Chiefs, and who even knows? Who even knows? Like, what is this game? What is this? It's almost like, at first I thought it was the gusty wind, like even DeVito, had balls getting away with them, that it's like, oh, these balls look like they're just floating or they're filled with helium or something. Like, goodness gracious me. And then not to mention the fact that it's like, oh my God, there were some boneheaded plays. Keyshawn Nixon, you muffed the punt. Don't try to scoop it up and play hero ball at that point. Like, the fact that you landed on it was blessing enough, but no, you have to go and turn the ball over. But then even on the Giants, oh yeah, there's another muff punt where it barely grazes this guy's arm. And then what do I need to say? Joe Barry's goddamn flop of a defense this game. No friggin' pressure on DeVito. Constantly letting him break containment. How many friggin' rushing yards did this guy have? He had more than Saquon, I'm pretty sure. No, he didn't have more than Saquon, but he had literally a 7.1 average. He ran, and oh, hey, there were times they held him to 5 yards, which I would say is impressive beneath his average. But hey, Danny DeVito, man. Tommy DeVito. Sorry, I don't know why I said Danny DeVito. Yes, you probably know what I'm saying, but Tommy DeVito. I'm not going to lie. I don't mind the kid. He brings an energy and a poise. The only reason I'm mad about the way he played is because it was against my beloved Packers. My Packers. And it's like, and then you've got the biggest anomaly of it all. A fumble, an unforced fumble. The 12th man of the Green Bay defense being the ground. Saquon able to get tripped up, reestablish, fall on the ball, let it loose, and then no whistle is blown, and they, Aikman and Buck are like, okay, that's not a good, mimic of them. But hey, even they didn't think that, oh, this isn't a fumble. But then, the refs are like, oh, it was a fumble. It is Green Bay's ball. Enough to have them score. Unfortunately, we do another kind of jet sweep. I don't know why in the hell we did so many. Yes, it's a good, effective way for us to kind of put defenses on edge. But obviously the Giants, they don't have a shitty defense. That's a bunch of friggin' nobodies. They've got guys that they don't want to continue to get beat by the same play. Why in the hell did we run so many jet sweeps that cost us on drives when we would have positive gains on first down? The second down curse, guys. If you are second down and you either lose yards or you don't gain any and you haven't done anything on first down, it's going to be a third and long. Second down, one of the most influential downs, in my opinion, in the game. Because it completely determines your personnel and play on third down. And I cannot tell you how bad the Packers' third down percentage was last night, but it was horrific. But congrats to the Giants. Congrats to them. They didn't give up a single sack this game. When I personally thought that, oh, hey, we've got Gary, Van Ness, Smith, Kenny Clark getting after this guy, but no containment. How ridiculous. And it's like, Joe Barry, you literally said last week, oh, it's about the score. It's about how much we've limited to. Well, you've made a Giants offense that has essentially been pretty lifeless this year look like they belong in the playoffs potentially with the way they played. So congrats to that, man. Huge thumbs down to you. I don't know what the hell you were thinking either, playing prevent defense when, hey, we're up by 1 point. We didn't get a 2-point conversion. Maybe you need a reading lesson that 22 and 21, that's a 1-point advantage. The slimmest of margins. And that, you guys, will conclude the satire review of week 13 in the NFL. Oh, wait, week 14. What am I saying? Week 14. Oh my God, I cannot speak. Anyway, obviously, kind of ridiculous games this weekend. I don't know what the fuck to say other than, good Lord. Week 14, I'm not going to miss you. Even though with a 6-7 record, my Packers My Packers, I, God, I don't even know. Even though my Packers they still hold a playoff spot. Crazy. But now, moving on, we are at week 15, baby. And Thursday night is Chargers Raiders. I couldn't tell you of a more meaningless game. A more meaningless game, you guys. Looking at this and knowing Herbert isn't going to play, good Lord. I'm sorry, Herbert. I love you. But in any case, you guys, poor Herbert having over 3K yards, 20 TDs this season, and 7 interceptions. I know I'm going to miss you. You've constantly performed since you entered the league in 2020. You've made this offense one of the top offenses over, 3 years while not being able to make the playoffs. This year, obviously, you're not going to make the playoffs. Same probably with the Raiders. That makes this a pointless game, albeit it's a divisional game. I just don't see the Chargers doing well. I don't even care if everyone is fully healthy. What are you going to lean on Eckler more for the run? Maybe this is his shot to get up to 1,000 yards by the end of the season rushing. That would be insane to imagine. Obviously, with 4 games, he'd have to have 4 very, very solid games doing that. But who knows? With a guy like Keenan Allen, maybe this new guy will have an easier time. But then you also talk about the shoddy defense. And you're going to miss those throws by Herbert where it's like, oh yeah, no one's open. Let me just force it into this crazy window. This crazy window, guys. And then you got the Raiders. Like it shows here, no wonder Davante Adams is so unhappy. No wonder, like, the rest of the offense is just non-existent. Josh Myers, I thought, would be a suitable backup piece. But then you look at Adams. Yeah, he's probably going to have a 1,000-yard season, but he's having an abysmal amount of touchdowns when he used to be a touchdown king. I'm pretty sure he had the most touchdowns last season of any wideout. And then you go to this year, the McDaniels failure, that fraud, and them opting for O'Connell over what is his face? Like Garoppolo, Jimmy G, Jimmy Gone Garoppolo. But this guy hasn't proven anything. 7 picks, 4 TDs. I get he was kind of forced in. He doesn't even have like a head coach who's like a true head coach. It's an interim. But the Chargers, the loss of Herbert, they're obviously well aware he's going to be gone. I personally think that this defense has the talent to beat the Raiders. I think it is kind of asinine that they say the Raiders by 3. I guess they're at home, so they're giving them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. And the Chargers obviously have it's crazy. It's crazy the parallels in this game. 17th offense against the 16th defense, and then the 29th offense against the 29th defense. Who comes out on top? I might honestly, now thinking about it, have to go with the Raiders. And the only reason why is because they obviously are going to have to, at least O'Connell's been playing. He's been playing lately. And I think that Davante's the best player in this game. You could maybe argue Max Crosby because obviously, Davante needs someone throwing to him. But the best offensive player is Davante, with Herbert being gone. And then you have Max Crosby against Derwin James, I guess, It's definitely Max Crosby. So the talent is there for vital pieces for the Raiders. And who the heck knows? The Chargers know that even if they start winning, unless they have some crazy dude who's going to be playing and he's going to pull a Browning, which I just don't see happening, that twice in 1 year. But this is the year for anomalies. So it's probably a crapshoot for me to even predict this game, you guys. I'm just being real with you. But hey, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say the Raiders win. And listen to me. Listen to me, you guys. The Raiders are going to win. And they're going to win 30-10. I know that's way bigger of a point differential than you see here. But the guy who, I don't even know who the guy that the Chargers are is going to play, you guys. I haven't bothered to look it up. Let me look it up right now. And I will show you. And I will tell you exactly why they're not going to win. And it's going to be wondrous. Easton Stick, you guys. Let's take a look at Easton Stick. Guess what? He was a round 5 pick. He is 25 years old. Or, I mean, sorry, 28. Why did I say 25? I must be losing it. He is 6'1", 224. The last game that he ever played was against the Broncos. And what year was this? This year. Otherwise, he had never played. His lawn was 57. So other than that, and he was sacked twice against a Denver defense that, yeah, sure, they're good. But hey, he had a 57-yard throw, meaning that off of 12 passes, he had 120 yards. That that isn't insanely bad, considering that's about a 10-yard average from what he completed. But he missed 11 throws. So goodness, man, Easton Stick. And isn't it nuts to me that they don't even have a third here? What if Easton Stick gets injured? What if they can't defend against the likes of Max Crosby? They're forced to run it? Well, you've got a wide receiver core that is relying on Keenan Allen. And then these other guys that they had, they were all made better. They were all made better. I will say it, by Herbert. So what do we say? Do we give Eckler the keys and try to see if he's got a little bit of like Jonathan Taylor carrying when he had the rushing record years ago now? It is mind-boggling. Can you depend on this defense who doesn't have one of their stars in Bosa? Can you rely on Khalil Mack? Eric Kendricks and Kenneth Murray, are you going to be able to play the run against this this Raiders team? I don't know. That is why, you guys, that is why I am saying 30-10. Because I think this is a very huge bait game. Where it's like, unless the Raiders decide they're going to throw it because they want a higher pick than the Chargers, what chance do the Chargers have? Case closed. I hope that you guys are entertained by this if you're watching. I hope that your teams did well this last weekend. I hope that looking to this weekend, you're able to watch a lot of games, have a bit of fun doing that because we have 3 Saturday games. And because of that, I'm gonna announce something. I am gonna have, and I mean, I talked about this last week. It didn't happen on Friday like I thought it would. I ended up being kind of preoccupied in the evening on Friday. But looking ahead to this next weekend, I am going to be starting my predictions on Friday night. I think this is a good push to shove because obviously, when I usually do my broadcast on Saturday, it is usually at like 1 or 2 in the afternoon or something like that. And the Vikings are already going to be playing because they have a morning game. Well, not a morning game, but you guys know what I mean. A 1 p.m. game where obviously, Central, Mountain, and Pacific time are noon and earlier. But it should be fun. And on Friday, it's going to be a little bit of a later broadcasting time. I'm not going to do it at like 1 p.m. on a Friday. I'm probably going to do it in the evening. And that's what I'm going to do the predictions for. I'm going to do the predictions for whatchamacallit, the 3 games, which I'm not going to lie, I completely forgot which ones they are. I only know the Vikings are playing because it's kind of pivotal. It is kind of pivotal what goes on with them in terms of like whether they win or lose, whether the Packers can move up in the playoffs. We obviously shot ourselves in the foot. We shot ourselves in the foot, yesterday, last night, which I'm still like, good Lord. You can't tell me that because we didn't have Watson, we just, we're so limited. We still had good downfield plays. But yeah, looking at this, we'll talk about Vikings Bengals, which I think, I'm not going to lie. I think the Bengals win this game. The way the Vikings looked last week, ugh. I don't care that their defense held the 29th ranked offense of the Raiders. I really don't. The Bengals have a lot more weapons, and Browning, they're competing in a much tougher conference for a playoff spot. That's all I'll say about that for now. Steelers Colts. This is another. I guess it's kind of a crazy game. I guess here for another AFC thing where it's like, are the Steelers be able to keep in contention, or are they going to fall to 7-7? Are the Colts be able to still claw at the Jaguars in their division? But obviously, the night game is a lot better. Broncos Lions. I just hope the Lions get their shit together, because I'm not gonna lie, I don't think after last night's loss, people thought there would be a shot for the Packers to potentially overtake the Lions, which I think there was a long shot anyway, you know. But I really hope the Lions don't lose against the Broncos. To be honest with you, I think the Broncos have been overhyped this year. I've even had some people call me a Russell Wilson hater, and I just don't like him. He gets way more praise than he deserves. And it's like I've even talked to people here in Denver that are like, "Oh, he's essentially like a system quarterback that like, oh, you don't turn the ball over. That is your job." It's like he's being paid like, on his past more so than right now. And I mean, even before he was traded to the Broncos, like those last 2 years with the Seahawks, where there was trade rumors circulating around, geez, he did not play well later in the year. Who knows? Maybe he's getting better with Sean Payton as his head coach, but it's like you can't tell me Pete Carroll isn't a good head coach. He rushed the transition on that team well ahead of schedule. Where it's like in a couple of years they could potentially be one of the best teams in the NFC, which, right now isn't saying much, but they're well on their way, but hey, the Lions, they need a rebound game. You start losing all of these, and you drop to like 9-5, you're starting to look you're starting to look like the Chiefs a little bit, where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna end up being the. I mean, the only reason why I think that they're locked for like the third seed is because the Eagles, and the Niners are ahead of them, and then you talk about the NFC South, where it's like, oh yeah, 6 and 7 team is winning the division, but that's enough to be said about that. I think it'll be another fun week, to be honest with you. I mean, we have 3 good games on Saturday, and, looking ahead, I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a fun end of the season, but who the hell knows? And the NFC is just so crazy, like, I feel like the AFC people are paying attention, but the NFC is just what's up for grabs, essentially, at the final 4 weeks, where 28 days, the final month, essentially, the final month of, like, games, so to speak, is gonna determine a lot, and a lot can change. But, if you guys don't have any input or anything you wanna discuss with me, I'm gonna end this because 'cause I'm actually hungry as hell. I haven't ate today. Um, but if you did watch and you enjoyed this, I wanna thank you guys, and as always, go Pack Go.